Hello, gremlins and godslayers. My name is TV's Guide, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where I have destroyed Leviathan. Really wasn't that hard. I don't know why people were so upset about him. I just stood there and smacked him with my axe, and then he died. That was cool. I don't know what these people are so upset about the primals for. But now we need to talk to this guy again, because of more quests is happening.
The Admiral has informed me of the arrangement. I have in my keeping a letter of introduction for Lady Yugiri. To the south stands a gate leading to a pier for smaller fishing vessels. Look for an inconspicuous Huron man there and present the letter to him. He serves as a gatekeeper of sorts.
I hate gatekeepers.
Now, before you go, I'm obliged to remind you that the members of the fraternity to which you would be introduced abide in the shadows of Levinston society. They value their independence more highly than pirates and are united by a bond stronger than mithril. To wit, they are invariably wary of new faces. Though it be penned by the Admiral herself, mere words on parchment will only get you so far into their confidence. You must work for every ounce of trust they place on you. But here's the letter. Go to the aforementioned place and show it to the aforementioned man. And, good luck.
I really should have picked a less stressful voice for him. Oh, Lord. Inconspicuous man. Oh, no, yeah. Inconspicuous. Oh, yeah. I would never suspect. I would never suspect that this man is a thief. Oh, no, yeah. Hiding in plain sight. Masters of Shadow. Inconspicuous. Oh, ow. Oh, no. Oh. Whew. Inconspicuous. You could have at least have him wear a different outfit than her. Oh, my God.
Why, hello there, ordinary citizen. Got business with me, venturer?
No, you're just a normal person. I have no. Oh, fuck me. Inconspicuous.
So, you're the man the Admiral sent word of. I was hoping I might catch a glimpse of Thancred, too. Oh, been a while since I saw his shite-eating grin, but with all the doe-eyed wenches about, I expect he got his hands full. Ah, you must be that Far Easterner what Merlwhip says wants to train with us. Welcome to Limsum, lady.
I'm Yugiri of Doma. 'Tis an honor to make your acquaintance. Like, you're about as subtle as she is! I must confess, when I first learned of your organization, I had certain preconceptions as to the nature of your membership. It would seem I was mistaken. No! No, I don't think you are!
You're not the first person to say that, lass. Lim's is a city of pirates, to be sure, and pirates don't give two farts about keeping a spotless reputation. They hardly need a secret society to do their dirty work. Might be as my people and I keep to the shadows, but we've got nothing to be ashamed of. It's simply better for business that we remain unseen.
Oh no, yeah, shadows. Unseen. They walk among us like ghosts. No one sees their passing. I've got it under control. I've got it. It's so funny. And so you have developed fighting techniques suited to this purpose. I see. Know that the practitioners of my art, too, are denizens of shadow. 'Tis in stealth that our strength lies. There's much we might learn from one another, I think.
Then what in the seven hells are we waiting for? If you'd come with us, Yugiri of What's It, we can get acquainted in more private surrounds. That didn't come out right, did it? I mean, I wouldn't recommend trying anything, buddy.
Master Brick, I shall remain with these people for a time, that I might study their ways. Though I'm loath to be separate from my countrymen, I take solace in the knowledge that they are in the best of hands. You have been a true friend to us Domans. No words could suffice to express my gratitude. Ere long, I hope to begin imparting my martial knowledge to the people of Eorzea. When that time comes, it will be my honor to welcome you as a student. Oh my god. Oh, Lord. Fucking hell. Inconspicuous. Yeah. I love character design so much. Because this seems like an intentional joke, right? This seems like it's a joke, right? It's like it's meant to be. You're meant to look at that and go, like, what the fuck are you talking? Oh my god. Oh, fucking hell. Much and more has occurred since I first beheld Eorzea from a galleon's deck. Suffice it to say, I did not envisage being invited to play a part in your noble struggle. But forgive me, I've kept you overlong. Doubtless you have pressing business of your own. Rest assured that I no longer require an escort in this land. When next you meet Lady Minfilia, pray relay to her my humblest thanks. Would that I could do so in person, but I must needs fulfill my promise to the Admiral. Till we meet again, Warrior of Light. Oh my god. That's a Koji joke. Yes, I hope it is. I hope it's it's even funnier if it's not on purpose, but it's pretty funny if it's on purpose too. Every time you return to the Rising Stones, you should check out the NPCs. Oh, actually, that's a good point. History is our friend, young one. The answers to the problems of the present are oft to be found within the past. We need but seek them out. What if you wanted to solve a problem that's already happened? Like the Guardians destroying Doma? Well, time travel, I think. On behalf of the Ascians, I bid you welcome to the Rising Stones. With your cooperation, we hope to grow rich and transform this place into the piling gold. Oh, Brick, forgive me, but I must see to the Doman's needs.
The Rising Stones? What a peculiar name for a sanctuary.
I've been tasked with helping out in the kitchen. Once I have grown accustomed to my duties, I hope to treat our hosts to traditional Doman cuisine.
In my native land, there exists individuals not unlike these adventurers. Yet without a master to serve, how does one know the path that one must walk? Let me introduce you to anarchism, my friend.
An adventurer bends not to authority, but lives and acts according to his own beliefs. He is the master of his own destiny.
Thancred, you're not flirting with her, are you? That's a little inappropriate. It's just you've got the bottle in your hand, and I'm... Okay. So 15 years ago, a mission took me to Ul'dah. So then... He is flirting with her, okay. So then I first chanced to gaze upon your beauty. I was utterly transfixed. I dare not blink, lest deprive myself of even a split second of your radiance. You do flatter me, dear, and I believe you've had a bit too much to drink. I mean, the man appreciates a MILF, I guess. I can't fault him for that, but maybe not Minfilia's mom, dude. Like, maybe that's a little bit weird.
What in the seven hells are you doing up there? Get down here before you fall and break your neck! You think this is impressive? In Doma, we train to run in the treetops.
Oh, I get it, because you're ninjas. Don't mind Papa Limo. He's making a fuss over nothing as usual. Your son's sense of balance is amazing for a boy his age. I wonder how he got so good. I want to hear Sky reenacting Dinner for One. Oh no.
Same procedure as last year, Miss Sophie?
Same procedure as every year, James. Mr. Pomeroy.
Happy New Year, Sophie Ducks.
Some of the Domans wanted to learn how to fight, and it's fallen to me to oversee their training. First, I need to find suitable equipment for everyone.
If you're European, you will know the thing I just did, by the way. If you're not, you probably won't. And hell, even if you are European, you might not. Like, if you're German, if you're Swedish or Danish, I think maybe the Dutch do it too. Dinner for One? Let me know. Do the heel clicking. No, that hurts.
I have been reflecting upon the events which took place during our visit to Vilbrand. If you have a moment, I would share my conclusions with you. Please, bear with me. When the Sahagin Elder summoned Leviathan, he employed the power we have come to know as the Echo. Though I cannot well explain the how of it, it would seem he became immortal in so doing.
So you're telling me immortality is in reach?
When the Admiral subsequently slew him, his spirit emerged from his lifeless flesh, a consciousness shorn of physical form. Thus transfigured, he took up residence in the body of his minion with the ease of a man donning a favorite glove. Long have I known that the Echo allows one to pass through the walls of a man's soul, but never did I imagine that it could free us from our own flesh, nor less that our souls could then occupy the next corporeal vessel to take our fancy.
I'm hearing immortal and also body snatcher, and that sounds cool to me. Also, the kink potential, damn.
It was of this that Ul'dah spoke, an existence which knows neither cessation nor oblivion. And yet, though the Sahagin had mastered his gift and thereby become immortal, he was by no means invulnerable. As we both bore witness, he was ultimately absorbed into Leviathan. And the import of this observation? If the Ascians' mode of existence is indeed the same, it can be inferred that they too are not invulnerable, that they can be destroyed. There exists a legend which tells of souls who are reborn upon the cusp of each umbral calamity, that they might stay the encroaching darkness. To most, it is but a fairy tale, yet recent events have given me cause to wonder, could the legend in fact refer to the Echo? Much and more yet remains unknown, but I am confident that all will become clear in time. For the present, however, what matters is that the key to defeating the Ascians may at last be within sight. With Urianger's aid, it is my hope that I shall fathom this matter ere long. Oh, I was just about to send for you, my friend. Is Artemis?
Grave tidings from the Sharlayan motherland, my lady. It doth concern our distant allies, the students of Baldessian.
Oh yeah, that plot thread.
What of them?
My lady, the Isle of Val, which for many years hath been the Order's home, is no more.
No more? Whatever do you mean?
I relate only that which hath been conveyed unto me by our agents. An etheric wave of the highest magnitude was recorded in the region. Soon thereafter, 'twas observed that the isle had ceased to be. 'Tis postulated that a magic was evoked, like in power to Ultima.
12 preserve.
If there are no other matters, I move that today's meeting be adjourned.
I move that you get kicked like a football.
It is done, my lord. Forgive my impertinence, my lord, but these orders, I am uncertain as to what end they serve.
Revolution.
Oh, now you're speaking my language. Except I get the sense that maybe you're not talking about quite the kind that I'm talking about.
Our friends, the very isle itself, everyone and everything. No, it avails us not to speculate. Urianger will send word if there are any developments. Until such time as he does, we must remain firmly focused on that which is within our power to change. With that in mind, I would speak of a different matter, one closer to home.
2.3 now. Dozen quests here, a dozen quests in 2.4, and 2 dozen in 2.5. Okay. Great. Okay. Oh, man. I was hoping I'd get out of Realm Reborn, like, within a year. It has been more than a year.
It concerns etheric fluctuations which we had previously attributed to good King Mughal the 12th. And that the king is no more is a blessing for which we have you to thank. Yet all is not well in the 12's wood. Our latest readings reveal an ongoing etheric disturbance of considerable magnitude. They may even suggest the presence of a primal.
Over 100 cut quests. I guess I am grateful for that.
Needless to say, the mere possibility warrants immediate investigation, and I would have you... Ascilia, I do not wish to interrupt, but we have a problem. What manner of problem? A band of refugees, hailing from Ul'dah this time, are come to Revenant Toll seeking asylum. It would seem they expect us to afford them the same treatment we gave the Dormans. At present, they are in the 7th heaven, awaiting a formal response. I see. Mayhap this was to be expected. I shall meet with them at once. Ascilia, you know full well we haven't the resources to accommodate many more people. Consider what will happen if you do this. Word will spread, and more will follow.
Good? Like, I mean, I know the food stores are like... But... if whatever resources you... I mean, yeah, okay, whatever.
Your opinion is duly noted, but I will hear their suit. Rick, I should be grateful for your presence at this meeting.
Oh, no, yeah, I am ever the diplomat. I can distract them with my rippling abs. When this cutscene was first written, Revenant's Toll was a few tenths. Right, oh yeah, that was the thing of, like, Mordona gradually getting built up. Oh, hey.
I apologize for keeping you waiting. My name is Minfilia, and I lead the Scions of the 7th Dawn.
12 be praised! It is you! We're ready and willing to work, same as the Domans. Just give us a task and we'll see it done.
Pray, calm yourselves. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I know naught of your situation.
I beg your pardon, antecedent. I ain't so good with words. We've been living off the scraps of Ul'dah for years now, trying to piece together a life to replace the one what got took. They say there's work, but there's not for an honest man. Not as wouldn't sully his soul sooner than his palms, any road. The flames do what they can for us, of course, but it ain't near enough.
Yeah, see, because one of the things that happens when you force people to live in abject poverty and deprivation is that eventually, in order to, you know, not live in poverty and deprivation anymore, they'll do crimes. Like, they'll be like, okay, well, I mean, I would like to stop suffering, please, and my only available option is to steal from other people, so I guess that's what I'm gonna fucking have to do, because otherwise my children are gonna starve. And then, once they do the crime, then you bring down the cops, and you say, oh, you people are criminals, and that means we don't need to help you anymore, you don't deserve it. And then you throw them into deeper poverty and deeper deprivation, and then they do more crimes, and then you can justify keeping them in deprivation and poverty forever, because look at all these crimes that they're doing in order to not die. So, like, clearly we shouldn't help them not die because they do crimes about it. And so, like, very good logic is to not... It's just better because they don't deserve it, because they're bad people, because they stole some food to survive. If you ever encounter people who talk about, like, poverty as a moral issue, keep that thing in mind. It's like, as Nero says, it's to keep labor cheap. Yeah, like, that's also part of the point. Like, part of the point within the economic system of capitalism is the thing that forces you to work is the threat that if you do not work, you will be poor and you will starve. Right? Like, if you don't work, you won't have a home to live in, you won't have food to eat, and you're gonna be on the street, and you're gonna be cold, and you're gonna die, probably, unless someone takes pity on you. And that's the fundamental, that's the carrot and stick of capitalism, is like, if you work, hey, you get some money, and you can have a home to live in. That's nice. But if you don't, die. Just fucking die. Die on the streets. We don't care. And... the function of the police within that system is like, well, the function of the police fundamentally within a state is to enforce the state's power. But the function of the police in the system of capitalism is to be part of that stick, right? Like, they are part of the system that punishes people for falling below the poverty line. If you're below the poverty line, you, by necessity, must resort to more criminal behavior, or more of your behaviors become criminalized, and the police will then punish you for that. And it's part of that carrot and stick system, right? Where the middle classes, like the people who have just enough money to get by, are shown, like, if you become poor, this is what's going to happen to you. Like, you're going to do crimes, and then the police is going to kick your ass and kill you. So you better keep going to work. You better be very, very scared of losing your job. You better not ask for too many higher wages, because then you might get fired. Which is also why, by the way, the police loves to break up unions. Oh man, they love breaking up unions. They love breaking up union protests. They love breaking up union action. They just love doing that shit. Oh man, it's one of their favorite things in the world. Anyway, like, but the thing that made me think about that is what he said, right? Like, there's no work that wouldn't sully his soul sooner than his palms, right? Like, he wants to work. This is an honest man who wants to do honest work, but the only work that's available for him is, like, awful work that stains the soul, right? Which can be all kinds of things, like, and that's not, what he's talking about is not janitorial work. Like, he's not talking about cleaning toilets. He's talking about being a debt collector, for example. He's talking about, like doing unsavory business in the systems of capitalism that no one would want to do because it's miserable and it kills you. And, like, my closest encounter with these systems, I have been very privileged in my life not to have to engage with poverty. Like, I've never been poor, which is just an extremely lucky thing for me. But the closest thing I ever came to that was I had a telemarketing job when I was, like, 19. And the job essentially was you had to call a lot of people and make their day worse. You had to call them up, you had to lie to them, you had to say, hey, I have with a polling company and we're doing a poll and it will only take 5 minutes. And then you ask people 400 billion questions not about politics, not about anything useful that anyone needs to know about. You ask them, hey, have you ever heard of Miracle Whip? Do you think Miracle Whip is a useful product for cooking? Do you use Miracle Whip regularly in your cooking? Have you ever used Miracle Whip for other types of cooking than making sandwiches? Have you ever used Miracle Whip in order to make your dinner? Just these endless lists of product questions that are partly meant to gather product data for marketing campaigns for these companies, but also you're just supposed to call people and repeat the name of a product to them over and 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 over again, as many times as they'll let you before they hang up. And it's advertising. And that is easy mode. Right? That is easy mode when it comes to soul-staining jobs. That's just the cushy little thing on the very top of that awful brew. It's the easy shit. I was miserable. Doing that work, I was so miserable because I just knew every time I call someone, their day gets worse. My job is to make other people's lives tangibly worse. My job is to annoy them, is to waste their time, it's to lie to them, and it's just to be a fucking miserable person. And the worst part, the very worst part, is when you call someone and it's an old person who's clearly lonely. Right? You call an old person and they're just excited to talk to someone. And between the questions that you have to ask because it's your job, they keep trying to tell you about oh, I had a son who he was in the army, and there was this one woman, she told me a story about her son who was a soldier who had died a few years previously, and she hadn't had any, she had no other family left, and she was telling me that story, and I was I have to ask her all these fucking questions about Miracle Whip. I just, oh man, it's soul crushing. It stains the soul. It sullies the soul. It like he says, and again, I was on easy mode. This is the cushy, easy shit, because I could just lie to the company I was working for. I could just fill out the forms myself and sit there and pretend to be on the phone, which I did. For the last 2 months that I worked there, I just sat there and pretended to be on the phone. I just acted out little conversations with people and put in my own answers because I didn't want to bother anyone. And I was miserable. I quit. I had to quit, and I just stayed for the necessary period of time for my contract, and then I fucked off because it was one of the easiest jobs in the world, and I was miserable. And no one at that company, the only people at that company who seemed to be happy with their jobs were fucking sociopaths. I'm sorry, I mean, I can't diagnose that in other people, but they were, I did not like them. They were not pleasant people. They were, they had a big smile on their face, and then they would talk the worst shit about each other behind each other's backs, really just nasty name calling and shit, sort of trying to get me in on it. It was, oh god, I one of the reasons why I suffered through being a commission artist for so long, even though there was no money in it, and it was kind of stressful and depressing on its own also, is because I knew that I did not want to go do one of those kinds of jobs ever again. Right? I just knew I could not hold down a job like that ever again. It would kill me. It would kill me. Because it's a job whose whole function is just to make the world worse, and then some companies will pay you to do that, which is fuck you, whoever invented this. Fuck you, whoever's paying for it. Fuck you all. Fuck everyone in this system. Anyway, that was part of my radicalization. And again, I recognize this is vanilla as shit. I have not suffered. Not in any reasonable way. I have not suffered relative to anyone who has had to deal with poverty. But if it was that rough on me, I try to imagine how much worse it is for someone who doesn't have the privilege of being able to quit, right? Who doesn't have the privilege that I do, where I don't have to take that job if I don't want to. I have other options. A lot of people don't have that, and they just have to sit in it and become worse people and immiserate themselves and humiliate themselves and actively be miserable people in other people's lives, because that's the only way to make money. It's inhuman. It is inhuman. It's awful. Anyway, do you ever purchase Miracle Whip now? No. I can't stomach it. You bring that up as a joke, but no, I don't. I can't. Because every time I do, I remember sitting through giving those fucking questionnaires. Like, there's a number of products that I just can't buy. And I can't stomach them because they just remind me of that shit. But no, yeah, like, there's no work for an honest man that wouldn't sully his soul sooner than his palms. That is the truth. Like, that's what the reality of work under capitalism is for a lot of people. Like, people in chat are talking about retail. They're talking about like customer service jobs. Yeah, like, there are customer service jobs where your entire job is to be yelled at by the shittiest people on the planet, like the shittiest, most entitled, awful people on the planet, and you have to be nice to them or else we fire you and then you are fucked if you have bills. Right? And I don't have a choice myself. I'm one of the people Skyn is talking about where I'm poor and I need to work. Starstruck Vega, if you need to cancel your subscription at any time for any reason, I don't know if you bought the subscription or if it was like a gift sub, but if you ever need, just do it. You don't need to give me any money. Oh, I gave it to you. Okay, good. I feel better now. Just keep it all for yourself. Like, I don't need any money from you. I don't need any money from anyone who's poor, ever. Ever. Like, just... Anyway. Let's play the video game. And it's only getting worse. When the calamity brought us to our knees, those rich bastards in the city didn't help us. They climbed on our backs. Yeah. Yeah, they do that. I don't pretend to be clever, but even I can see what's coming. I knew we had to run. The only question was where. And then it came to me. Revenant's Toll. I mean, you took them foreigners in, didn't you? So surely do the same for us.
I fear the situation is rather more complicated. While it's true that we accepted the Doman's petition for aid, that decision was product of extraordinary circumstance, as opposed to his life, Minfilia? Like, you can't pick and choose what suffering... Like, solidarity has to be extended to everyone. Anyway, I'm sure the story will engage with that. I sympathize deeply with your plight, but pray understand that it is not possible for an organization of our means to aid all who have been affected by the calamity. And so it is with great regret that I must deny your request.
But we've nowhere else to go. You're turning your back on us.
If I might have a word. Tataru, is aught amiss? Ill tidings from Ul'dah, my lady. Alphino has been wounded. What? How? Is it serious? I cannot say for certain, but I fear it might be. According to the flames, the refugees started a riot. They went wild, apparently, lashing out at any and everyone.
That can't be right. Why would they? They must have been provoked. The demonstration was meant to be peaceful. Seven hells. Now the Blades have an excuse. They'll round us up and kill anyone who tries to resist. Antecedent, please, if you won't help us build a new life, at least help us keep the ones we've got.
Hey, remember that thing I said about how the cops are used to, like, incite crime and punish the poor in order to justify continued repression of them? Yeah, no, I think maybe that's about to come up. Oh, Lost and Found and Stray Kit, thank you for those subscriptions. That's very kind of you. Once again, like, if you're not... If you need the money for yourself, please don't spend it on me. Now I'm feeling really self-conscious about that.
My lady! We are not ones to stand idly by and watch innocents suffer. However, until we know more about the circumstances surrounding this riot, I am not certain what aid, if any, we can provide.
It's a good thing this is a fantasy game with no politics in it. Yeah! Like, it's just escapism, you know?
If the authorities determine...
The authorities, Minfilia, are the fucking... If they were provoked, the authorities were the ones doing... Anyway.
Determine that the refugees attacked without provocation, then those responsible will have to answer for their actions.
How can you be so blind?
That's my question.
Find Alphino, and quickly. If he's in danger, or worse, I would have you and none other by his side. Thank you. Pray do not concern yourself with the matter we were discussing earlier. Ul'dah and Papalimo will see to it. Alphino's being treated at the Hourglass. Hurry, Brick!
No, but yeah, like, maybe listen to the Minfilia. Maybe the guy... He's telling you... He's telling... He told... Okay.
Come, you must have gathered by now that Tataru is given to exaggeration. As you can see, I am quite well. Ul'dah, on the other hand, is not. This riot was anything but an isolated incident.
Yeah, it's almost as though when people are, like, deprived and desperate, they will take desperate action or something. I don't know. If only there was a way to fix that problem with money or something.
There is a restlessness in the air. Tensions long simmering are at last threatening to boil over. Ul'dah is a nation infamous for the great disparity between the wealthy and the poor. The majority of the populace accepts this state of affairs because they believe that every man bears responsibility for his own lot in life.
I hate, and I despise the idea of personal responsibility when it comes to economic circumstances. I hate it. I want to punch anyone who brings it up. Because, like, I was born into the middle class, and I am in the middle class now because I was born into it. Not because I worked really hard to better myself, but because I had a support network of people whose money could support me whenever I was not able to, like... Again, I was able to quit that fucking telemarketing job because I had a support network of people who were willing to, like, to cover for me when I was in trouble. Like, personal responsibility is a scam. It's a lie.
Money is the foremost, and some would say the only measure of a man's worth. Small wonder that the wealthiest wield the greatest influence.
Why am I fighting primals? Why am I fighting primals? The monsters are here.
So where do the refugees fit into this social hierarchy? What place is there for those who fled Alamigo and the destruction of the Calamity? Plainly, there is none. They have no wealth, no power, and no worth. To the Ul'dah way of thinking, they may as well not exist. Choosing to ignore their existence, however, is patently not an option. General Rauban and the Sultana understand this, which is why they ordered the Immortal Flames to provide the refugees aid and succor. Yet none would dispute that the expenses incurred by this policy grow by the day, with no end in sight.
Yeah, it's almost as though there's like a whole economic system that has a direct interest in making sure that helping your fellow human beings is as expensive and unprofitable as possible. I don't know.
This has prompted more and more Ul'dahs to question their obligation to aid these worthless wanderers.
Yeah, it's like, it's almost as though class consciousness and propaganda rules the social system of this hyper-capitalist society. I'm just restraining myself from going on another rant. We've done enough of it already.
While more and more refugees have come to resent their treatment at the hands of the sneering citizenry.
Oh, really? Have they now? Have the Alphino. I can't imagine why.
The manner of Lord Lolorito's refusal to grant the Dolmens asylum bespoke a disdain for all refugees, an attitude shared by the rest of the monetarists. And you may be sure they make no effort to conceal their opinions. It was only a matter of time before the refugees united in protest.
Good.
Nor is it any surprise that some among them would ultimately resort to violence.
Yeah, no, Alphino. They're not resorting to violence. They are retaliating against violence. What's being done to them is violence. Like, just like, not to get all preachy on you here, but if someone is fucking starving right in front of you, and you just sit there eating your own food, just like, guess that's a problem for you. That's violence. Like, you are doing violence to that person. That's traumatizing. When people who live in extreme deprivation and poverty resort to violence, they're retaliating. They don't start it. They're retaliating. They do it because they run out of any other option. Like, no one who's poor goes to a protest like, yeah, I want to do violence. They go there, it's like, I want food. Jesus Christ.
That the immortal flames should choose this of all occasions to engage in joint training exercises with the other Grand Companies. By the time they return, the situation may well have deteriorated beyond mending.
Even if they hit those who are not responsible. Oh, Evelyn, responsibility, you say? Who's responsible? Everyone is responsible. We are, all of us, responsible for each other. All of us. All of us are responsible for each other. And we are responsible for nobody more than the poorest and most vulnerable among us. Like, and this, I feel like no one really disagrees with this if you press them on it. Like, if someone is suffering right in front of you, you're like, if you don't help them, people will look at you like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because, like, if someone is suffering, you help them. Like, that's, every human being who is in a situation where someone is hurting right in front of them knows this. Like, complete strangers, if you see someone crash their bike on the street, you go, like, at least you go up and check if they're okay, right? Like, we're responsible for each other. And we know this instinctually, we are. We are built to have sympathy for one another. So, like, it's the thing of, like, oh, we deserve to have violence. Like, if you live in a society where this underclass of people are starving, and you're not doing anything to help them, like, yeah, like, you have part of the responsibility for that. Like, your responsibility is to be there protesting with them, you know? That's solidarity, at least to be protesting on their behalf. And, like, and if someone who's trying to do their best in good faith gets hurt as well, like, if a riot goes out of control, right? And, like, someone who's, like, trying to help the refugees, like, if their house gets, like, smashed windows and stuff, that's bad. That is not a good thing. Like, that's not like that's like, oh, that's a morally good thing that happened. It's more like the reason why it happens is because these circumstances became miserable. Like when people resort to that kind of violence, like when that kind of violence breaks out, it's because the people who erupt into violence feel like they have nothing else. It's because they feel like if we... And this is the thing, like, a good example of this is the civil rights protesting in the United States, right? African Americans in the United States literally were not able to vote Right? Like the peaceful means of engaging in political discourse in a democratic system is to vote. It is to it's to like push for legislation. It's to lobby. It's to engage in the political process. And in order to prevent African Americans from doing that, white supremacists in the United States did everything within their power to prevent them from having access to the political process. They were shut out of the processes that were meant to allow them to have influence over politics, that were meant to allow them to have influence over the way that legislation is passed, that was meant to allow them influence over the levers of power. And like when you do that, when you shut people out of all the democratic processes, when you shut them out of all of the legitimate ways of enacting change in a society, when you shut them out of legitimate ways to acquire food, to acquire housing, to acquire medicine, to acquire the things that they need to live, you create conditions in which violence is inevitable. It's not good. Like, it's not a good thing. It's not, yay, windows are getting smashed and buildings are getting burned, hooray! It's like, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen? Is what it is, right? Like, it's that thing of like, yeah, like, what else were they gonna do? Like, what else did you think was gonna happen? If they have no other options left, if you reduce them to no other means with which to better their lives, violence is going to happen. Like, it's just inevitable. When the conditions for life become intolerable, people rise up. It happens every single time. Like, it happens every time. And every time it happens, every single time it happens that people who live in intolerable conditions rise up, everyone who stands to benefit from their poverty, or everyone who's not in poverty with them, says, oh, that's illegitimate violence. They should have used the available democratic processes. But they don't, like, if they don't have access to them, like, if they don't, and this is something that's happening in the United States right now, by the way, a lot of Americans, like a lot, feel like that their votes don't matter in the political system because they don't. Because the Democrat and the Republican Party, both of them, have gerrymandered and fixed the system to such a degree that it simply is not possible to vote for a party that isn't Democrat or Republican in the United States, at least not in national elections. Like, there are no other options. Democrat or Republican, that's all you get. And most of the seats are safe to the point that, like, you can't, even if you hate the congressman you have, you can't get him out of office because no party will run a candidate against him. His seat is safe because it's gerrymandered all to hell. And people know this. They know that their votes are completely pointless, and so they disengage from the political system, and seeing no other option to better their lives, some of them turn to left-wing organizing, which I think is generally a good thing, but plenty of them also can be convinced to turn to fascism. Like, plenty of them can be convinced to turn to right-wing violence. Because the right wing offers simpler solutions. Like, the right wing says, well, the reason why you have no political agency is because the Jews control the world, or because those immigrants are something woke agenda, like, whatever. Like, it's... when you deprive people, when you create intolerable conditions, violence becomes inevitable. Not good. Not justified, inevitable. Right? So it's like, so yeah, like if a protest against bad living conditions breaks out and it becomes a riot, and usually when a protest like that becomes a riot, it's because the police attacked the protesters. Just saying, if it happens and then your windows get smashed or like people steal shit from your house, it's bad. Like, that is a bad thing. That's not something that should happen. But it becomes inevitable. Like, the conditions under which these people live makes things like that inevitable. Which is why those conditions have to be addressed. Which is why I say we're all responsible for each other. We're all responsible for helping each other with mutual aid and, like, by whatever means we have available to us to help each other as much as we can, because if we don't, violence becomes inevitable. Right? Like, that's the thing. Anyway, sorry, like, I know I was quite hostile towards your question. It's a legitimate question. It's the kind of question that you often hear from, like, people who are just like, well, I don't want to do anything. They broke my window, so fuck them. Like, it's the kind of question that I'm suspicious of. But I've tried to give you, like, a real explanation for why we are responsible for each other. It's like, it's not fair. It's not fair at all that, like, if people who don't have a lot of money should spend their money having to help each other, like paying each other on GoFundMe and passing the same $50 back and forth between each other over and over again so people can make rent, right? That's not fair. It's deeply unfair, and it's even more unfair that some fucking asshole who pretends to build electric cars and spaceships sits on untold billions of dollars and just jerks off with them all day on Twitter. It is profoundly unjust. And he should be the one spending his goddamn motherfucking money making people's lives better. But he won't. And so it falls to the rest of us, because otherwise violence becomes inevitable. And that violence is not going to target him. He's protected. It's going to target us. We're going to do it to each other. Like, we're going to throw bricks at other people who are working class just like us. And hurt each other and kill each other. And nothing really changes so long as we're just fighting each other, which again is why we take responsibility for each other, we help each other, we build solidarity, so that all of us together can turn our anger on the people who deserve it. And generally speaking, you don't actually need to have a violent revolution to get the rich to give up their money, because they know what's going to happen. Like, when the working class unites, they know. They know what's going to happen, and they're going to start giving up their money in a fucking hurry. It's not that hard to get them to do it. It's just, we need to break through the divides that are being artificially constructed, where people who are poor are told to look down on people who are racialized, and people who are racialized are told to look down on people who are immigrants, and people who are immigrants are told to look down on people who didn't make it over the border, right? Like, it's this constant passing of the buck and the blame and saying the other over there, that guy, he's responsible for it. He's responsible for your suffering. Like, if he wasn't here, oh, you'd have it so much better. But it's a lie. We are responsible for each other. And the more of us take responsibility for one another, like, we can't fix everything, but the better we can generally make our world right now. Anyway, video game. I'm supposed to play a video game. I'm sorry. La 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 la. Quest completed. Oh, fucking hell. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Yeah, you're not wrong.
As I've told you before, it was all but inevitable.
Yeah, like I've been saying.
It was all but inevitable that an incident of this kind would eventually occur, given the rising tensions within the Sultanate. Inevitable. Nevertheless, I have reason to believe that this particular riot may not have begun spontaneously.
No, you don't say.
Have I piqued your curiosity? Good. Then you will accompany me to the Hall of Flames. I would hear what General Raban has to say upon the matter.
Now is not a good time, Brick. My hands are full of dealing with the refugees.
Precisely the matter we wish to discuss, General.
Alfino, back on your feet already.
I mean, he did fight, like, gods and demigods. I feel like maybe like, getting punched in a riot maybe won't take him down.
You might credit my swift recovery to your Churgeons. My memories of the riot are still somewhat muddled. I trust you managed to regain control of the situation?
Not entirely. We secured the city soon enough, but not before the unrest had spread to surrounding territories. Pockets of resistance remain throughout Thanalan.
Please don't send me to put them down. Please, 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 please don't do that.
We have sent what forces we can spare to root out the last of the belligerents, but progress is slow. They are damnably elusive.
I can well imagine. Given that the majority of refugees live outside the walls, it stands to reason they would know the lay of the land. What I do not understand is how they came to be so well prepared. Before my little accident, I observed that several of the refugees were armed, and not with butcher's knives or pitchfork, but with martial weaponry. I need hardly add that such equipment is costly. None can deny that the tensions between the Ul'dah citizenry and the refugee population have increased since the Domans were turned away, but, would that motivate a starving man to purchase arms in lieu of food? I think not. And what of those who have not even a single gil to spend, who could not survive without the aid provided by the immortal flames? Surely they would sooner sell a weapon than bring it to bear against their benefactor.
Come to the point.
Very well. My point is, General, that this powder keg of discontent was not set alight by chance. These events were deliberately set in motion
And now order must be restored. That is my first duty. Until it is done, any investigation can wait.
Hey, remember what I said with Merleweb about how if you create this system of us and them, and then you elect leaders whose job it is to protect the us from the them, and then this sort of stuff happen? Yeah, this sort of stuff happens.
I do not have time to discuss this. My scouts will be returning anon.
The General is no fool. He keeps his own counsel, and with good cause. Were he to claim, without necessary proof, that these riots were instigated by outside forces, the monetarists would accuse him of attempting to shirk responsibility. After all, he and the Sultana have been the most outspoken proponents of refugee aid. Regardless, they will face harsh criticism in the days ahead. Our allies may stumble upon the truth in time, but I have far more faith in your abilities, Brick. Therefore, I propose we conduct our own investigation independent of the authorities. To that end, I would have you make inquiries in the settlements of suspected of harboring belligerents. Commander Swift will know which they are. He may balk at a request for such information, but I have no doubt you can persuade him with your silver tongue. I, meanwhile, shall seek answers in my own way, after which we can regroup and share our findings. Well then, shall we?
Don't forget to clean your mic filter at some point, then bitches get nasty. Yeah, I will. I think I do need to clean my microphone filter soon. You know, if I didn't know the saying, like, you can persuade him with your silver tongue, it would sound kind of dirty, wouldn't it? Like, it would sound like he's encouraging me to give him oral sex or something. Which, to be fair, Brick wouldn't be opposed.
You look as though you have something to say, Brick. Do you? What you ask is no simple favor. Were such information to fall into the wrong hands, the lives of countless soldiers would be at risk. Even so, there is wisdom in your words. An able individual may be better suited to this task than a regiment. Very well. The Brass Blades have reported suspicious activity in the vicinity of Lost Hope. It may be unrelated to recent events, but we doubt it. I suggest you begin by speaking to the Blades posted there.
Let's go talk to some people.
And what brings you here, adventurer? A search for refugees? Well, then you've come to the right place. Oh, you mean those refugees? Oh, no, you won't find them here. Most of the people of Lost Hope have come to accept their situation and are content to pass their days in peace and quiet.
You mean die slowly and without complaint? Okay.
Outsiders have trouble understanding that. Like that merchant who passed through recently. Gregarious fellow, but awfully opinionated. Can't say I was sad to see him go.
A friend of the Sultanate, are we? I take it this means someone has read my report? The refugees who left with the merchant have yet to return, and I'm increasingly concerned that Sasawaka's suspicions were correct. You haven't the foggiest what I'm talking about, do you? Never mind. Speak with Sasawaka. He'll explain everything.
I beg your pardon. You're not a flame. Oh, I see. If Leofric bet you speak with me, then I take it you've agreed to help? 12 be praised for that, because we haven't a moment to waste. Everyone knows the flames are on the march. The others have fallen under that fanatic spell, but not I. Promises of resolution and retribution, of holding the ruling class to account and taking that which is owed. Ha! A childish fantasy.
I mean, they count on you to think that way, I'm just saying.
I did everything I could to dissuade the others from leaving, but few would heed my words. Now that one of our idealists have returned, however, the madness of the merchant's plan is plain for all to see. Look behind yonder tents and you will understand why. Even now he babbles incoherently, so traumatized is he by the bloodshed he witnessed. Try as I might, I can make little sense of his words beyond the fact that he was not alone in surviving. Yet I doubt that the merchant will lead the remainder. I've no doubt that that merchant will lead the remainder to their doom. I beg of you, find them before he does.
But, like, again, it's... when you create desperate situations, people can be taken advantage of by bad actors.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't draw! Don't draw! Don't draw! Why didn't you run away with me? We could have escaped together. Then you'd be here with me to soothe me. Why did you have to stay and leave me alone?
Okay, so I have to emote at him. Here. There.
Who are you? What do you want? Oh, it's true, I followed the merchant, and may the gods strike me down for my folly. What they will not give you must take, he said. When we asked how, he revealed a cache of weapons he'd brought and implored us to seize control of our fates. I thought about running then and there, but the others were so excited. He split us into 2 groups, sent us off on our own. But when the flames found us, we didn't know what to do. Our leader tried to parley with theirs, and then they started arguing, and then fighting, and then everyone was fighting, and the flames were shouting to give no quarter, and...
Which, again, like... call down the police who try to suppress the unrest with violence, and then give people the means to respond with violence, and... oh, hey! Yeah, that's a war crime. You have just created the perfect conditions for war crimes.
Oh gods, the other group, they're still out there. If we don't stop them, they'll be massacred like mine was.
I am good with stopping that.
The other refugees are hiding in the cave south of Lost Hope, but to approach them would be fruitless. They would sooner call us agents of the Sultanate and try to kill us than listen to reason. Why, the twins might even deign to do the deeds themselves. Pox on all bloody sellswords. They were supposed to train us to fight, but the ones you sent with us vanished during the struggle.
Yeah, they would, wouldn't they?
Oh, if only we'd never listened to that merchant's ridiculous claims. He said our cause was righteous, that the gods would never suffer us to be defeated. Though, if they were to confront reality... That's it. Challenge the twins to combat and show my brethren that they're strongest warriors and no match for one man. Mayhap then they will agree to lay down their arms and renounce this plot.
I would really like to not have to kill them. Quest, please, I would like to not have to kill them. I would like you to not make me do that.
Seven hells, they found us. Everyone grab your gear and make for the rendezvous point. So that's your game, is it? Sorry to disappoint you, lad, but we're more than willing to kill you ourselves.
Okay. Just on principle, I didn't want to be the one who hit first. He looks a little dead. Yeah, like as Karst as Goodson is saying, like even if they're just unconscious, like they're in the water is a bad place to be unconscious. Cool.
You beat him like it was nothing. Well, fellow almighty, what are you gonna do now?
Just don't try and fight the army, okay? It's not a great, like, oh god, I want to make these people reach Kropotkin. Like, build dual power insofar as it's possible. Do you feel like a hero yet? No, Miss Face Crush. No, I do not.
You returned! Did you find my brethren? What are the twins? What happened? I see. Well, you had no choice. Better that a handful of them take a beating from you than the lot get butchered by the flames.
Yes, a beating. With my axe. I gave them a...
Sure. Tell me, what did the merchant have to say when it was over? Huh? But where else would he be? Unless he went to Stone's Throw to recruit others? The merchant wished to approach the refugees in Stone's Throw, but was waiting until the flames withdrew their forces from the vicinity. Now that they have, there's nothing to stop him from continuing his work. How many more must perish in pursuit of this futile cause? How much suffering must we endure before it ends? Find him. Convince him to seize this mad quest. It will surely lead us to ruin.
But, like, yeah, like, for all of our leftist talk, I am not much in favor of, like, violent revolution. Mostly because, like, there's no civil uprising that can beat an army, you know? It's... I just don't have a lot of hope that it would work.
Have you seen my parents?
French Revolution worked. Well, I mean, no, it didn't really. Like, it worked for a bit. Like, there was a republic for a little while, and then Napoleon. And then he became an emperor, and then the emperors came back, and then the monarchy was restored. Like, it took, like... It took a longer time before the France transitioned to an actual republic. And a longer process. It was like... French Revolution was a bourgeois revolution. It was an elite in power. I mean, the French Revolution, like the 1789 one, was also rather local. Like, it happened in Paris, primarily, and then a lot of the countryside didn't really follow that. Like, a lot of the peasantry, a lot of the actual ordinary people, like, it wasn't really a revolution of the masses, it was a revolution of the masses in a... Like, yeah, it's complicated. It's a big, complicated historical process, and that's one of the problems with the way that we record history, is that we tend to focus on, like, these big events, right? And we tend to focus on these big moments, like, oh, the French Revolution, and, like, the War of 18 whatever, and so on and so forth. But, like, history doesn't move in, like, big snaps. Like, it doesn't move in big booms. It moves in waves. And it's, like, it's complicated. Anyway.
They told me to stay here with the others. They said they'd be back soon, but it's been days. They left with the man from Ul'dah. The man said they were going to change everything, make it so we can live inside the walls with everyone else. I liked it when he said that. I didn't like it when he talked about making the rich people pay. Everyone looked so angry and I got scared. Say, mister, are you looking for someone? You mean the man who left with my parents? But I don't know where he... Wait, over there! I think that's him!
Well now, which of these gullible fools shall be my next victim?
My dude, how the fuck did you convince anyone to do anything? If, like, just going around like,
which one of these idiots shall I deceive next? You! You!
He's getting away! Go get him, mister!
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
You again? Why are you pursuing me? Sedition? Treason? Revolution? That's preposterous! Who has filled your head with these lies? Refugees? The self-same refugees who terrorize the streets of Ul'dah? You have no evidence to prove your accusation? None!
I have an axe.
No, I will not accompany you to the Hall of Flames. You have no right to detain me. For the sake of argument, let's say I did do the things you claim. Surely you don't think I give a cricket's art about politics? It was business, only business.
Is he gonna get assassinated in just a second? Oh, yes, he is.
We both know I'm not the one you want. However, if you agree to protect me, I swear I shall tell you everything.
It was only business, and that is the most detestable part of it. Yep. Oof.
What's all this commotion? Seven hells! Tell the others to spread out and search the area. The killer may still be close. Hold, adventurer! I would know more about your relationship with the victim, as well as the events leading up to his death. This man was responsible for the recent riots. Mayhap we owe his murderer a debt of gratitude. In any case, it's obvious you're not the one whom we seek. You may carry on with your investigation, Scion.
I mean, yeah, he was killed with an arrow and I have an axe. It feels like, why would I kill him with an arrow point blank?
That would be weird.
Just a Reaper hole? Just a what? Just a Reaper hole. Okay. Just, okay.
What news, Brick? Where's the merchant? Murdered. Oh, damn it all to the seventh hell. He was not simply murdered, Brick. He was silenced. Too many knew his face and he was ready to divulge his secrets. Do not despair, though. We may be closer to identifying the true orchestrator of these riots than you realize. The Flame General left word that you were to proceed to the Fragrant Chamber as soon as you returned. He wishes to discuss your recent discoveries as well as the results of our own investigation. Master Alfino has already been informed and should be waiting for you outside. Pray proceed to the Royal Promenade with all haste and speak to Bartholomew.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to Bartholomew.
We've been expecting you, sir. Please proceed inside.
Commander Swift has kept us apprised of your recent activities. You've made great strides towards quelling the violence.
Despite our best efforts to determine what provoked this uprising, the truth continues to elude us. Have you uncovered aught which might shed some light on the mystery?
This information does not leave this room. The Syndicate's decision to reject the Doman refugees' appeal for asylum had lasting repercussions. A number of those displaced by the calamity claimed it was proof of a policy of discrimination.
No! Why would they think that?
Together with a group of Alamegan refugees, they organized a series of demonstrations to protest against the Sultanate.
That is a legitimate part of a normal democratic process, but I guess that's scary for you guys.
Demonstrations which became heated, but did not descend into violence. Until a certain incident served as a call to arms.
A unit of brass blades sent to supervise a demonstration loosed arrows upon unarmed protesters.
Really? Oh, the cops murdered protest? That never happens.
It was this atrocity which prompted the refugees to take up arms. I need not tell you what followed.
So, the refugees took up arms in self-defense, is what you're... They were defending the... Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah. Funny how that happens.
We assumed at first that the attack was born of a miscommunication. When emotions run high, they happen.
No!
But suspicions were raised regarding the unit's commanding officer, whom I ordered interrogated.
When emotions run high, they happen. Like, no. These attacks happen when you have a group of protesters who are like, we're miserable and we need help, and then you send the cops to force them to calm down. That's when they have... It's not miscommunication, it's provocation. Anyway, this is just... Yeah.
Sure enough, our fears were soon confirmed. The dog confessed that a merchant had offered him coin to give the order. A merchant in the employ of Taleji Adeleji.
Oh, Stream Elements bot. Thank you for that little... I set up that PSA long ago. It's not true anymore. I interact a lot with chat when I stream Final Fantasy XIV.
Taleji Adeleji. But he spoke in favor of the Doman's cause, and has ever seemed sympathetic towards the refugees' plight. Why would he do such a thing?
Because he's a rich asshole.
Know you of the Cartano Reclamation Bill? It is a proposal to annex the Cartano Flats so that refugees may establish permanent settlements.
There we go.
When last I looked, that was disputed territory.
There we go.
Aye. Some might even call it a battlefield. The destruction wrought by Bahamut was greatest at the Cartano Flats. That much is common knowledge. What is less well known is that his rampage laid bare ancient Alagon ruins, of which no record existed.
Wait, hang on. Is there... Oh, no, I read that wrong in chat. Okay, everything's fine.
There are certain differences of opinion as to how these ruins should be handled, which is why each nation maintains a military presence in the region to this day. Yet differ though we may, we are still allies. Therefore, in the interest of preserving the Eorzean alliance, we have reached an agreement. Any conflict which may arise during the course of military exercises in the region shall have no bearing on relations between our nations. In full knowledge of this delicate state of affairs, Taleji Adeleji proposed the Cartano Reclamation Bill.
It's a land grab. It's a land grab. The oldest form of extractive exploitative capitalism. Enclosure.
A shameless, bloody ruse which stands to benefit him in but one conceivable way. If successful, he will gain control over the disputed territory under the guise of assisting in the resettlement effort. And you can be sure he'll build an orphanage next to every Alagon ruin.
The man would threaten the unity of the Eorzean alliance and risk countless lives for personal gain.
Why do you act shocked by that? That's the entire philosophical underpinning of your entire goddamn nation.
He walks a path all his own, independent of any faction and beholden to none of his fellows on the Syndicate.
By inciting the less fortunate to violence, he hopes to convince others that the Cartano Reclamation Bill is the only viable solution.
The cutscenes are getting better and better.
His sympathy for the plight of the Domans was not but posturing to gain credibility with the refugees. Of that there can be no doubt.
Forgive me, but what could possibly motivate Teleji Adeleji to go to such lengths? What is so special about these ruins that he would risk his position on the Syndicate, and, most likely, charges of treason against the Sultanate?
Omega.
Omega weapon?
Pardon?
An Oligon monstrosity, not unlike the Ultima weapon. Mayhap larger, we know not. It has yet to be fully excavated. Oligon inscriptions indicate that it was created to fell Bahamut himself. If accurate, it might explain why Nail Van Darnus chose to bring the Red Moon down upon the Cartano Flats, given the ends he went to ensure Eorzea's annihilation. Destroying the one weapon which could stay the Elder Primal may well have seemed like good sense.
When first I bore witness to the power of the Ultima weapon, I doubted the evidence of my senses. And now you tell me there is another such weapon, one which could contend with Bahamut. Bahamut!
Aye, we were skeptical ourselves. Truth be told, until the Ultima weapon's existence came to light, we thought the inscription had been mistranslated.
At present, Omega is more akin to a fossil than a tool of war, having long since ceased to function. As such, its true potential cannot accurately be gauged. However, if someone were to restore it, as the Carlians did the Ultima weapon, I have little doubt that he would wield untold power.
Power enough to subjugate Ul'dah like as not, and the rest of Eorzea besides, which is doubtless why Teleji Adeleji yearns to have it.
That he should aspire to world domination. He who has ever walked 2 paces behind Lord Lolorito in matters of commerce.
I mean, petty personal jealousy is ever the motivating force behind the behavior of the rich.
'Tis in acknowledgement of his own limitations that he seeks this power. Woe betide us all should we allow him to have it.
Pray waste no time chasing rats. Only a fool would believe that secrets can be kept in Ul'dah.
It would seem the implications of the Sultanate's refugee problem are rather more far-reaching than we assumed.
So, if you've enjoyed hanging out in the world of Final Fantasy XIV with me, you can hit the like, comment, and or subscribe buttons down below, and that'll let you know when new episodes are coming out. If you want to watch these episodes being recorded live, head on over to my Twitch channel, which is linked in the description, because you can watch them being recorded live there, like I said. If you want to watch the episodes that get edited early on YouTube, you can become a member of the channel, and that's it, I think. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to be kind to one another, have solidarity with those who are worse off than yourself, and may the tides of history wash gently over us all.